Top of the morning, evening, night, or day, ladies and gentlemen. This is me here on behalf of Well Prepared Men. And today we're talking about watches. So if that sounds right up your alley, don't forget to stay up until the very end. Today we are discussing a great alternative for the Tissot PRX, which is a watch that I almost pulled the trigger and I didn't because I found these alternatives that I got over here. We're going to explore that together. So before we open this box, ladies and gentlemen, I'm wearing the Seiko SNXL72, which is a watch we've reviewed here on the channel. But today we're talking about a great alternative for the Tissot PRX. And here it is, ladies and gentlemen. In this box, we have two Seiko 5s. Focus. There we go. Let's talk about this one first. So this for me has exactly the same look as the Tissot PRX, but it's got a few advantages. The first one being it's automatic. Now the Tissot PRX that I was gonna buy was the quartz version, and I found the quartz version selling for around 400 euros. Now the guy wanted 420 euros to be specific for a gold Tissot PRX, and I was like, man, find me a number with 3 and we're in business. The guy didn't want to sell it for a number starting with 3, so the conversation went silent for like a week, and then he came back to me like 399. And I was like, do you know what? I've actually found one for 270. Can you match the price? And the guy was like, oh, no, no, no. So I ended up not getting the Tissot PRX because I thought that for that amount of money, I should be getting an automatic watch. And they have released the Powermatic 80, but the Powermatic 80 is so much more expensive. And in my opinion, the price is not justifiable by the machine. So I went online, I did some research, and this is what I found. Seiko 5 promises 5 distinct features, and the first one is an automatic winding movement. So you shake the watch. That was fucking weird as fuck. Never do that again. In case you're not too familiar with the Seiko 5, it promises 5 distinct features. The first would be you got an automatic movement. Then you have water resistance. After that, you got a day-date display and a durable case. And for last but not least, you got a recessed crown at the 4 o'clock position. Those are the 5 key features that make a Seiko 5. It's water resistant, but this watch is so old that I don't really trust the gasket. In terms of design, it's very similar to the Tissot PRX, but this got a detail that I really like, which is the crown here on the side. I think this is a really cool touch when it comes to design. And also, it's super handy when it comes to setting the watch, because if you have the watch like this, you can literally just adjust it with one hand, and that makes the whole process simpler. I'm just gonna try and leave it more or less where it was. Okay, that's more or less correct. So, about this watch, it's a day date, which I don't think the Tissot PRX is. The Tissot PRX would be able to tell you the day. It's got a day complication. This for me was also a plus because I like my watches to bring some sort of functionality for my day, not just look cool. And I think this watch is very cool because of the color combinations. We got silver, which is something that I don't wear very often because I feel like gold suits better the color of my skin. I wear it anyway in days where I'm feeling silver because it's got a champagne dial and it's a beautiful watch. So even though it's silver, I ended up getting it because of this reason, the dial. I really love the color of this dial, and it goes with so many of my outfits that it's just ridiculous. So yeah, this is the first alternative to the Tissot PRX if you're looking for something in silver. We've got beautiful Seiko 5s available that will scratch your Tissot PRX itch at the 50 to 100 euro mark. This particular watch cost me 50 euros and there's nothing wrong with it. Everything works. Now there might be a little scratch or two here on the glass, as you can see here. But this watch is from 1970, bro. Like, what do you expect? Actually, you can expect something better because the second watch I'm going to show you today is exactly the same model. It's also a Seiko 5, but it's in much better condition. Now, you might see some signs here that might look like wear, but it's actually dirty. The watch catches fingerprints really easy, and that's my fingerprints that you see there. So this is a little bit different. As you can see, this has got a Milanese style bracelet, which I don't really like, to be honest. This watch is beautiful, but I end up wearing my other Seiko more often because this bracelet is so fucking shiny that it just reflects every single beam of light that impacts this bracelet. And while I'm riding my bicycle, this tends to blind me. I'm still getting a feel for the watch. I got it last month and I'm gonna rock this strap a little bit longer and see if my taste for this strap develops, because I have not worn this watch that much because of that reason. It's really shiny. So I end up wearing the silver version way more than the gold version because of that reason. Anyway, I'm gonna try and focus here, the camera, so you can see. So both these watches have Japanese movements. They're made by Seiko. And this one is very similar to the other Seiko we just saw. But for starters, it's in a different color. And it's got a beautiful dial. I love this dial. This is the reason why I got this watch. I feel like the gold and the blue makes for such a beautiful combination that I just had to get it on my wrist. As you guys can see, there is some minor differences between these two watches. I feel like this one has a little bit more quality put into it than this one. And it's the little things that make me say this. Like, look at the crystal, for example. This one has a smaller crystal, as this one has a really thick crystal. Hopefully the sides are able to show you this. Also, this one has a lower, I don't know what you call this height here, but I feel like this one has more height to it. Can you see that? Anyway, both of these watches really remind me of the PRX, and I wanted to talk to you about them because if you're spending 400 euros for a quartz movement, you're better off with something like this. This satisfied my PRX itch, and this cost me 50 euros. This one cost me 60. So for 110 euros, I was able to satisfy my PRX itch and get an extra color combination to go with my outfit. So it doesn't get any better than that. Something else that I'd like to mention about these watches is that they are vintage watches. So although they say they're water resistant, if you want to be 100% sure that they're water resistant, do take them to a jeweler's and get the gaskets swapped. Over time, these gaskets do tend to wear out. So yeah, service your watch if you're interested in getting it wet. Personally, these are not the watches that I take to the beach. They're the watches that I use in my day-to-day. To the beach, I'd probably take my G-Shock or something like that. These are vintage watches and you should give them some loving before taking them into more extreme situations. Because both of these watches have been ticking for longer than me. So that deserves some respect on its own. And changing gaskets, it's not that big of a deal. This is something old school, mate. This has got more steel in it than... I don't know what to compare it with, but it's got a lot of steel and you can feel some nice weight to these watches. Now I'm handling this one more than this one because this is more like a daily beater and this is a posh, go out, enjoy life kind of watch. I don't really want to scratch this watch anytime soon. Now the Tissot PRX has got a beautiful bracelet. And these watches probably don't compare in that regard. They're comparable when it comes to the dial and format, but the bracelet of the Tissot PRX is something else compared to these watches. Personally, I don't care much for that because I really like the machine or the mechanism or the movement, whatever you want to call it. I think that's more important than a good looking bracelet. And the bracelet on the silver watch is actually much better than the Milanese because the Milanese is really shiny, like I said, and whenever I open it, the adjustment tends to open as well. Now it didn't open this time because I'm filming it, and that's normally how the world goes. So yeah guys, this is my alternative for the Tissot PRX. Don't be hype followers. Do whatever the fuck you want and enjoy life. I hope you have enjoyed this video and that you save some money on the PRX. And in the meantime, I will catch you on the next one. This is your boy, logging out. Peace.